everybody doing today? My name is Jason. I'll be your host on this CFL talk show, Hussey's Huddle. In this video, we're going to talk about recently signed wide receiver Martavis Bryant, who comes to the CFL after a troubled stint in the National Football League where he flashed potential. But really quickly before we get started, if you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is by hitting that like button and subscribing to Hussey's Huddle for more CFL content just like this. Without further ado, let's go talk about the Toronto Argos. So to put it bluntly, Martavis Bryant is one of the biggest names to come to the CFL in the past decade. Bryant had a very interesting career in the National Football League where he flashed moments of stardom with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but then also ran into trouble off the field due to numerous suspensions as a result of violating the league's substance abuse policy. And so he comes to the CFL after being ruled ineligible and suspended indefinitely in the National Football League. And so putting that aside, let's talk about what he should be able to do in the CFL with the Toronto Argonauts and what my expectations for him are. First and foremost, I love this opportunity for Bryant with the Argos because I think that they don't really have an established number one, number two. They got a lot of opportunities for receivers to produce in this offense. The Argos' main receivers right now, on paper, are Canadian Jawan Brescison, who has struggled to stay healthy during his career, and Tavares Daniels, who, though he has shown moments of stardom in the CFL, hasn't really shown that on a consistent basis. So both of these guys, even if they do produce, Bryant, at worst, will be the third receiver in this offense. I think that this is just a great opportunity for a receiver to step into. I think he'll get plenty of targets in this offense. I don't think he'll have to worry about competing for a starting spot necessarily like he might with other teams in the CFL. And so I think this is a great landing spot from that perspective. But what really concerns me is the quarterback position in Toronto. Now, what's happening right now with the Argos is Matt Nichols, as a result of the league's financial structure right now being retooled, he's going to have to redo his deal with the Argos. And reportedly, these restructuring negotiations to lower his salary have not been going well, and that the sides are quite far apart on a deal there. And with free agency literally being almost only a week away, it's very concerning for the Argos to not have a quarterback lined up for the 2021 season already. Every other situation, pending an official confirmation of Nick Arbuckle restructuring his contract with Ottawa, every other CFL team has established a starting quarterback for the 2021 season already. And so they can get to work with developing those relationships between those quarterbacks and those receivers on those respective teams. But for Toronto, that is still up in the air. And Nichols, even if he does resign, a lot of people, a lot of CFL fans, people around the league have always had questions about his ability to lead his team and elevate his team to the highest level, even though he is a proven starting quarterback in the CFL that can raise the floor of a team's performance. And other than Nichols, I guess they could bring back McLeod Bethel Thompson, who was their starter in 2019. He opted out of his contract in the 2020 offseason to play in the U.S. Spring League. He looked pretty good down there, although I have some really big questions about him. Even though he did lead the league in touchdown passes in 2019, he did so in a lot of trailing situations in the fourth quarter, so I'm very concerned about his numbers being inflated and that not reflecting how good of a quarterback he actually is at the CFL level. And so bringing him back, to me, is not the most exciting option, though it is on the table, obviously. And I think that would probably be the second most likely option for Toronto's starting quarterback in 2021. However, I guess they could go the wild card route. They could find somebody, a college kid they really like, and give another opportunity to them. But regardless, I don't like the quarterback situation for any receiver looking to put up great numbers in 2021 with the Argos. And so Bryant's going to get lots of opportunities to do so with the Argos in 2021, but I'm not too sure about the quarterback situation in terms of this landing spot. Now, traditionally, there's been a lot of former NFL players, think Johnny Manziel, Vince Young in recent years, have came up to the CFL, and the public perception is that they're going to come up to the CFL and light it up. It's an inferior league. They're going to come up here and light it up. But that actually hasn't been the case in most cases. In most cases, the guys ended up flaming out because they realized the league is a lot more talented than they perceived it to be coming in. And so that's always the concern with these high-profile, big-name NFL players that come up to the CFL. And Bryant fits into that category as well. But I don't think is necessarily the talent that's the question with Bryant. I think he has the athleticism that could dominate the CFL game on a weekly basis. He's a big play receiver. He's going to be able to take advantage of the CFL's wide field. But the question is he going to be able to fit in a team environment after being out of football for a couple of years? Is he going to clean up his act off the field? Those are the big questions for Bryant coming into the 2021 season with the Argos, and that's obviously the major pitfalls in Bryant's cases that I could see happening. But I just want to draw this comparison to another high-profile NFL player that ended up playing in the CFL about 15 years ago, running back Ricky Williams. You guys remember him? He was the guy that Mike Ditka traded his entire draft for in 1999. And he had a great NFL career, and he did not fall out of the league for lack of skill or anything like that. He was suspended on the substance abuse policy like Bryant was. And so he was deemed ineligible for a year to play in the NFL. And so he comes up here and he signs with the Argos, and he had a great season, and he ended up going back into the NFL. And so it's clear to me to draw parallels between those two situations, because in both those cases, it wasn't about the player's ability so much as the off-field stuff and meeting the NFL's conduct policies and so forth. And so I'm interested to see if we'll see a similar result with Bryant. I think he's going to be great for the league. I think he's going to be able to sell tickets in a market in Toronto that, let's face it, has been a black hole for the CFL for the last, decade, even more than that. And I think it's just great for the league in general. I think a lot of neutral fans, a lot of NFL fans will potentially buy tickets to these games just to see this guy play. And hopefully it all works out in Toronto. But like I said, I think the quarterback situation, even though he will have lots of opportunities to showcase himself in this Toronto offense, I'm not fully all in on his chances of doing so because of that quarterback situation being what is relative to every other CFL team right now, which I would say has a better quarterback situation than the Argos do. And so with that said, that's going to be the end of today's video. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Once again, my name is Jason. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is by hitting that like button and subscribing to Hussey's Huddle for more CFL content just like this. Thanks again. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.